have lights, we have camera, and I believe we have action. Starting meow. I should really have a second screen for this, but what are we going to do? Okay, so we'll get right into it. Psych! I have had the pleasure of fishing with Tom for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. I'm trying to control sound here. I'm trying to control everything here. That's the point of all this, because it's a fruitless effort, but if I can make the video the way that I want, then I get to tell myself that I got this. So I've been fishing with Tom for 3 or 4 years. I think context is important, because I'm not going to say this is everyone. He was a guide for over a decade, and in Truckee for trout, or in Tahoe, Reno, whatever you want to call it, and so he has experience on the water and in a boat. And is this your first day out fishing? No. I do want to kind of side by side this with another client of mine who's been out on the boat with me, I would say a lot, but in the scheme of things, where he was a year ago, shout out Steven, maybe a year and a half ago, the trajectory or the path from, oh, this is interesting, I like the idea of streamer fishing, or I really like fly fishing, what else is going on here? I like to think of and use, I've had a sinus infection for like 3 weeks. Use this image of me folding up a 7.5-foot 2x leader, fishing a 5-weight with floating line, and just a grotesque, poorly tied dungeon in a little spring creek, and trying to cast it to the other bank, because they are not going to show up on the bank that you're standing on, because they can hear your footsteps. So you need to walk away from the bank and then come in later and fish that bank, but otherwise you're casting over to the other side of the bank. All this stuff you hear is just like one of the biggest fish, one of the first big fish that I saw in this spring creek was doing that. No idea what I'm doing, blasting my head with this big streamer, and not everything was wrong about the setup, and my casting and tying and how I was fishing. The first big fish that I saw came from casting across the bank. It's coming this way, direction the creek is going that way. Hit the bank, strip it in, it's getting swept a little bit, and then I'm pulling it back to recast. You'll hear me talk about this moment a lot. And all of a sudden, from 3 or 4 feet, arc, tangent, rod, plus some sort of integral of the bend, that far away, down to my left, I see a big-ass fish come out and just, give it a little sniff. And it's like, oh God, this is, I'm getting somewhere. There's something here, but my God, I have no idea what it is. And that was, I was taking out 2 or 3 different rods, figuring out what to do with a backpack or with fly boxes, just so my back didn't hurt. I was taking so much stuff. And also so it became manageable, because if I, go out there for 4 or 6 hours or longer, it's how much stuff am I going to take? Am I going back to the car? Am I just fishing streamers? I ended up getting there, and sometimes you do just have to commit and fall on your face and learn a bunch. There we go with the metaphors for life. But so I like to think of that moment, and it's like, can we take you there, or even before that, and get you to a place that is, let's capitalize. I mean, so much of this is like, go have fun and be bad at something that's new and difficult, and book your trip. Come fish with me. It is May 12th, and things are heating up, and we got big water coming for the rest of the summer. But I like to think that I shorten the learning curve, and for everyone who won't, one person angler is $500. Two anglers are it's $600 for a day. It's you're coming here. If you're not within a couple hours, it's probably a hotel, or you're camping, you're taking a day off work, people with family, kids, relationships. Like, I get it. It's a big ask. Personally think it's worth it. I've staked my career on it. But to the extent that that's not feasible, I want to be able to kind of talk through some things that I see that I've been able to capture on video with clients and with myself, so that you can, if you're float fishing, if you're wade fishing, saltwater fishing, like another number exhibit 50 something sub tangent bullet point whatever of why this way to target trout. It translates to smallmouth, it translates to musky, it translates to saltwater. I've had a couple clients recently just text me out of the blue and just say, dude, I had an incredible day, targeting permit or targeting bonefish or targeting tarpon on the fly, and like my hookup ratio, my ability to get these fish, not just cast to them, which has also improved dramatically, but then get them and get them to the boat and catch them. It's like everyone else is going 1 for 10, and I'm batting with a 90% average. So all of this stuff, it can feel like a lot at first, but I assure you that it's worth it in so many different contexts. And the point is to learn and to enjoy yourself out here. And I think that going through some of this and you trying to internalize it, and think about it when you're on the water and with the fly rod in your hand and what the line's doing, what the fly's doing, all that stuff becomes very helpful. And if you're not into stuff like this, go off. So we'll get on to looking at time here. So we're fishing pretty big water. And he's fishing well. Part of this is like he's been fishing a lot. He's comfortable with a fly rod in his hand. I had a beginner, I'll say, last week, and some of the stuff at some point, it's like I kind of wish we could just press the pause button and everyone gets off the boat, and then we come back in an hour, or we practice on grass or something. But when you're learning, and I think it's an hour and a half ish, but like there is a time frame where either it's not getting, like, doing the same thing and trying to be repetitive and learn the same thing when it's not, we've maxed out. When you start to get over whatever that is, I think it's a little longer than 90 minutes on the boat, probably because I'm throwing a lot more, different things and ways at you. But at some point, it's like, man, I told this dude to walk around with a fly rod in his hand. There's this level of comfort, and so lots of different mechanics and things to think about and approaches and tactics and techniques and all this stuff that you can work on. I compare it to golf. It's probably the same with almost any sport. All of that's great and you can be perfect at all of it, but then we're bombing through a chute and you got to get a shot there and there's bushes here and there's this, that, the other. I'm back rowing. We're in choppy water, we're in smooth water, there's wind, we're switching flies, the leader's this, blah, blah, blah. Being able to get it out there and do it in a way that sets you up to then retrieve it in the right way and then set in the right way, all of that takes time. And so the more you have a fly rod in your hand, the more you're casting, the more you're trying to do these non-sterile, not in a gym or an auditorium or on the lawn kind of can be, but the more you're just out screwing around and getting all that muscle memory with line tension and where the rod is and sidearms, and that's going to set up the actual fishing in a better way, because the actual fishing presents you with situations that are not an auditorium. And so, right, hitting a Dixie cup from 60 feet away is great. How about the edge of a log with current doing this here and the boat here, and it's 30 feet away, but like you better get it there, and there's a bush there, and you have a quarter of a second. So that's where just casting time with the fly rod in your hand is going to make a world of difference. So dude's already fishing well.
You have to fish hard.
And
then when you get an opportunity,
shut up, Ellis.
It's like, okay, how do you capitalize on it?
I do have a lot to say. I think we're just going to fast forward to the...
Fucking can't do anything. Just get to a place where we're just doing this. Dude.
Go fish with Tom in Maine for striper.
You can't let your, whatever that is, your angst, kill your shot at bagging a fish.
So I want to... We're just chatting, right? I'm showing all this for a reason. We're just chatting.
So yeah, that's not how that works.
He's talking in the middle of a thought. Silence.
Good fishing.
I'm not saying anything, right? I'm not about to break that. I see what he sees. There's this under a big tree. It's tucked back a little bit. You see that blackness right up against the bank. That's weeds and a bank creating, night conditions there. And so much of what we're targeting is, let me just rewind this here. So we're kind of sliding over. It's shallow here, and then it drops off, and there's a trough here. This isn't spot burning. I'm not giving anything away from my own business. The secret sauce is us being out there and being there at the right time. The flow is doing the right things. Which section of the river we're on, making all of that work within a 7 to 9 hour day. And your casting experience, style, whatever. If we have 1, 2, there's so much that goes into this stuff. Like if you find this spot and you go out and cast to it, good luck. So I guess what I'm trying to get at here is this. It's important to fish lots of water. If you're floating, you may as well, if you're not getting hung up, if the odds of you getting hung up is somewhat low, you should be casting and retrieving. I get surprised still. And I still, 6 years in, unless I'm really going to be disrupting your cast and pushing the boat forward or turning around and back rowing through flats, giant sun, flat water, super clear, it's worth it to have a fly in the water. So I'll say something like, this is going to be difficult, or front seat don't cast, because that's the direction that I'm pushing, and it jams up your ability to retrieve. But otherwise, it's just looking at this one screenshot. I mean, I've had eats here. It kind of dumps right to left, and then there's a trough along this bank. But we've moved fish all along this bank, all along the right side too. The river kind of dumps over, and then sort of a spoon shape or a ladle shape. But all of that, this right side where it's a more gradual gradient, it's all cobble. The fish are going to be hanging everywhere, and any of those depth changes with those cobbles, with that boulder structure as the substrate, they're going to be there. So it's not to say that there's only one shot here, but you start getting into like, this is pretty skinny. There was a big rapid up right behind us, and then there's a dog barking in my yard. It's my dog. Skinny, and then drops off deep. These first couple places are one of the first places for a good predator lie. And so you have these, we'll call them like B plus, maybe A shots here. It drops off. We got a couple over here on the right, maybe a couple over here on the left. And then as you go down the bank, it's like the first one or two there, that's really what you want. And it's not just the first one or two feasible shots. It's the bank drops back a little bit. There's not just a little overhang. There's a massive overhang. So herons can't get there. Ospreys can't get there. It's got all the right stuff. And you can just hear.
So yeah, that's not how that works.
It's a good shot. He's also about to require. He's putting all his neurons into this cast. So no more talking. Boom. We're gonna stop there too. He's about to haul on the back cast. Quick pickup. You get some line out. Shoot some line out on the back cast. So when you're picking up that fly, hauling, getting everything tight immediately, putting energy into the system on your back cast as soon as it starts moving backwards. And that makes that little sidearm, chip shot, pitching wedge, whatever you want to call it, that makes that little, you put all that energy in on your backhand, and then it's just holding tight, and maybe you give it another little one, but that haul out of the water, speed out of the water, really important. Get it behind you, easy pitch back in. He's not putting a lot of effort in on this cast. That gives you an ability to control where exactly within inches that thing is landing. If you're trying really hard, it just doesn't work out. The slower you go, the more energy you put into the system through your backcast, through timing mechanics. And this is why it's just important to have the fly rod in your hand, to feel when that's happening and how it's happening. The more energy you're putting in right there, the more you can you're holding that energy and then just letting it go. You just doing all this stuff and then say all of that energy, do that. And it's not, here's more energy and go do that. It's just, here's all the energy I'm going to have, carry it around, and then now you're going to go over there.
Good fish.
Greatest moment in sports. There's a lot to talk through here. Shut it all down. Sees the spot. He hears it. Sees it. He sees the eat, and you can hear, oh. Watch this strip set.
Good fishing.
We need to get that going slow-mo. Boom.
Oh.
All right, hold please. I want to find slow motion here. So it isn't just, you can't just pull your line. And there's I have a video of what a strip set is, but if you pull your line and your rod isn't at your tension, and importantly, if your tension is through the current, if you have a bow swept into your line, the best strip set is into that tension, which is going to end up coming back to your fish that just ate. But really, if you can be casting in a way and then retrieving in a way that you're maintaining either full tension when you're stripping, and then when you're not stripping, the kill in between the strips, strip, kill, strip, kill, strip, kill. All those kills are completely slack, and that fly just whoop, then you strip again, then it's completely slack. Versus when you have a bow casted into your line, or you're letting the line sweep your fly, it's stripping, and then that, instead of that full slack, it's you're stripping, and then it's kind of getting pulled. So you have to strip through that on the strip set. Dun, 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 dun. I think my vision's... I have no idea why this is doing this. Okay. And we are live on the screen recorder. Had some technical difficulties. But we're back. I got 3 monitors. We got the camera, that's me, Tom fishing, and baby, maybe not awake. You don't want to jinx that. It always looks like Paranormal Activity, you know, with the, he's in this swing, and it's just like, it's in black and white, and it's, you know, the frequency, the signal refresh isn't, you're not watching like a live stream in 4K. It's a little delayed, and so the swing movement isn't always like smooth and one-to-one, and you just every once in a while expect to see, I don't expect to see it, you do. All right, where were we? We're wasting time here. Oh yeah. So I went into Adobe and tried to get things so I could do like a frame by frame or whatever, but I actually just spent 4 seconds, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, and figured out that I could play this in Windows Media Player. For whatever reason, it was capturing within the editing software screen. I was trying to record that screen, and I'm not going to bore you with the details. I will. I'm not going to right now, though. Back to Tom. You will have to forgive a little of the audio. Right there. We're just going to go. I mean, look, we already got to the removal of neurons doing anything else. We're talking about, his keeping people in the game as a saltwater guide, and specifically poling and on fly and in the flats and for stripers. And this is the way he describes it, more like bonefish, permit, spooky tailing reds. So no false casting, and like keeping people engaged while also having them not do anything at all. And then the similarities and differences between keeping people engaged, like what I do, but the opposite. I'm keeping you engaged and we're constantly doing the thing. When you get a shot saltwater fishing, when Tom's pulling around, you guys are an hour in and you haven't done anything, and then you get a fish up 60 yards, moving left to right. Don't do anything, please. But throughout that time, you're not doing anything because that's the engagement. You're out. If you're sitting there rocking the boat, which we're going to touch on that at some point, but you're putting down fish and you're out there just burning the opportunity that you have because you can't be engaged in the right way, or you're impatient or something. And it's the same thing, kind of, except you're active the whole time. You're staying engaged. You're fishing. It's just this different. We don't have the buck fever. There's no moment. Okay, here it is. Okay, I better have everything ready. Now, here's my cast. I'm doing 2 hauls back. Line is out. More line is out. And I'm delivering as far as I can. It's a good shot. I'm stripping. I'm listening to the guy. He says stop. I stop. He says move it again. I move it. The fish eats. I strip set. We're doing everything at once all of the time. And so they're so close. They're so close in what they are, which is sight fishing. Ours is fishing to the bank while moving in a boat, but we don't have the opportunity to see the fish. And so it's this constantly prepared but never expecting, and sort of always expecting but never really, sort of always anticipating. And that's why the casting and the retrieving, and I will sound like a broken record, but I'll also sound like a broken record saying this: habits don't form when there's a 2-foot brown coming up and swimming, then pausing right behind your fly. You don't all of a sudden know what to do with that. If you just smash your brain with the idea that there's a fish doing that all the time that you can't see, and your job is to make it eat, when it happens, when it's visible, because sometimes it is happening, you don't know it, but when it's visible to you, when you see that, when your computer is given the data for the first time, it goes, oh, maybe I haven't seen this exact thing, but I've seen a lot of simulations like it. And so, here's one option. And I'll get a little woo-woo about this, and it'll sound hokey until it doesn't, until it's not. But you go through those motions, you hear the phrases. I subscribe to so many of these things, be it fishing or relationships, parenting. It's energy goes where attention flows. Or attention, that's right. So the more you think about the good thing, and you'll hear this in different ways for all of the podcast bros or your self-help books or whatever, if you think about always being broke, it's also this kind of maybe religious or Christian philosophy, but this it's the same concept of desire versus fear. So I want this. I want to have a successful business, right? It's the same end, it's a different means than I don't want to be broke. So, therefore, I need to do this and I have to do that and blah, blah, blah. It's like I want to do this because I want this is different than I want to do this to avoid this. Because then you're thinking about avoiding that thing. I promise all of this stuff, intentional or not, is happening with people like Tom, with people like Steven, with the ones who connect with fish, because unless it's accidental, which it so rarely is, you're envisioning what's happening, it happens, and then you do it the way you envision it. It's so rarely the case that you either stumble into it and it just everything works out, or you're envisioning the opposite and you're fishing so hard because you don't want to not catch a fish. It sounds stupid. I get it. So the neural activity, I promise we're getting back. The neural activity is now away from, we're talking about podcasts, we're talking about engagement, we're talking about how tangential I can be when talking. And it's just, we got a good tension, lots of energy in that back cast. That haul. Let's go back here, ladies and gentlemen. He sees that he hasn't talked in a couple strips because he sees this shot right there. Haul on the little pull on that left hand, right there, just a little pull. It's not this whoom double haul. God, I love this. I don't love record. I'd rather be on a boat, but I love this is such a good example. That is a haul. It's a controlled, subtle haul, and you don't need anything more than that. So he's slightly lifting his hand up, separating with the rod. That's the same thing as being up here and pulling down. It just looks different. And what he's also doing is separating his hands so that when he's coming forward, separating his hands so when he's coming forward, all the line that's going to be moving around here and falling from this are not going to get tangled up. Boom, and then he's stripping. But that just that separation right there, that gives you an extra, it's like you're pulling faster. And it doesn't look like he's doing anything, but he's not doing this. That would be not a haul at all. This is just this really subtle haul. Oh, back to the cast. Right there again. Not big. This is perfect. This is like 90-something% of our shots. We're maximizing efficiency. We're minimizing movement. We're maximizing the space between our hands. We're staying low, right? So this cast looks so effortless because it is. He's using that separation. He's using the fly rod, letting it load and putting energy in the system. With that separation is bending the rod, and when that fly comes out of the water, all of that rod bend, just from separating his hands like that, all of that rod bend is from him separating his hands like that and moving his rod at the same time. And then it has that energy in the system. So you let the energy go from all potential to kinetic, back to potential somewhere in that cast, and you carry that potential forward and then let it turn back into kinetic. You're not making it more kinetic. You're letting it go back into kinetic. Subtle difference, but you're not trying here. That's why it looks effortless. Maximizing efficiency. When I say maximizing efficiency, it's not we're doing everything right and optimizing blah, blah, blah. We're really, it's as fast as the fly line is going to get. It's the most accurate. All of that comes with being intentional, being somewhat slow and controlled, because the more you're forcing things, the more you're working opposite to that dynamic of the fly rod, the spring, loading and unloading. Such a nice, easy sidearm cast right under this tree, right? He's not going, boom, splat. I don't mind the splat. He's not doing this with the backhand over the boat. He's going all the way outside. He knows that sweeping that rod all the way under those trees, rod tip fly comes under those trees, and then just nice and easy, points and shoots. Little haul, right there. Lets that line go, holds onto it. Love this. Strip, boom. Another strip, boom. Big kill. Strip, another strip. Big kill. I'm yelling. Strip, it just ate. Boom! Pointing his rod tip. Give me a break. This is like one of the most textbook, I mean, what happens next isn't really normal, but the quick movement, keeping it in the kill zone as long as possible, changing up that kill cadence, so the strip is the movement, the kill is the lack of the movement. Little haul, another tiny haul. Just letting that fly do its thing. Strip, strip, big kill, strip, strip, big kill. That fish is eating right now. Strip, he sees it, feels it, boom. Line and rod are straight, and it doesn't need to be, I know I've done this before, dancing around in a boat, this giant tarpon set. He's straight at it. It probably ate on that first strip after that second series of strip, strip, big kill, strip, strip, big kill. That's very different than splat, strip, 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 strip. I like chunky peanut butter and not creamy, but depends on if it's Skippy or Jif. Oh, I just saw the... Yeah, because you finally changed up your cadence because you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Boom. Pop, pop. Pop, 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 pop. I make different noises. But that cadence change up, right? It's not always just strip, 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 strip. Even fishing the drunks where you want that regularity. Pop, 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 pop. You're walking the dog, right? You want to go maybe 3, 4, 5 strips, get that dog walk cadence, and then big kill. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, 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 pop. Fish shows up. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, 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 pop. Eats. Hammer it home. Very rarely. Strip, 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 strip. Oh, look, a fish. And now it ate. Boom. Sidearm, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Love that. We want to minimize, I don't want you being tired. I don't want fingers, shoulders hurting. Strip, strip. Big kill. Strip, strip. No movement. Giant kill. Strip, probably just ate. Boom! Straight to him. Then rod up immediately. Now, things start getting wild because the fish, after eating, leaps into the air through the surface of the water and starts cartwheeling and tail walking, which browns don't normally do. So just heads up play. Tom's all over the place here. in a good way. Elbow back. Keep that tension, right? Whatever you can do. Elbow back, his arm's all the way out here. Just as much tension. If you're on a reel, you can keep tension pretty easily. That's a great way of keeping tension. So is that. I was so happy for him. So I'm going to yell at him here in a second. Right here, where that fish is flipping out in front of the boat, look where Tom's rod is. This is another, like, we want to catch browns, right? We also want to get them into the boat and then the net. And then we want to take a picture of them. I'm taking up my girlfriend she's an idea factory with a plushie, with a stuffed fish to have people. Because I'll tell you know, how's the day? Good, whatever. Showing pictures. She fishes, showing pictures, and it's like, dang, that's 22. I'm like, yeah, almost 23, and like a fat one. So Tom's a big dude. I don't know, 6'3" or 4", but my stepbrother is almost 6'6", and like I don't think I'm ever gonna let him hold a fish again. I'm 5'9" and a half with wading boots on. I can make a fish look pretty darn good, right? But this is, it's all getting there. So let's work on getting the fish in the boat. Tension opposite with enough flex, so we're not pointing right at it. Tension opposite to what the fish is doing. So that fish starts going apeshit, and it's coming this way. I don't know how I can do this on video. It's coming left to right, and so he's moving his rod right to left and down because the fish is going left to right and up, keeping that tension. That fish is going to land back in the water, and I haven't watched this in slow-mo, but I suspect that Tom is going to come straight up. So right there, love it. Not what happened. The fish dove back down and starts going whoa, right under the boat to the right. And Tom just easy. Let him take it a little bit, but keeps pressure against the spine. That's the whole thing. The fish jumps up like this. We don't want to have tension this way. We want to have tension side of the mouth or down the spine. Oh, coming right back, going absolutely bonkers. Here, this is no bueno. I'd rather have rod tip way high up. And that's why I was yelling, don't strip anymore, because after you get that fish, I like being way up here. Because you can, that angle between wherever your pinpoint is and where your rod tip is directing the line, that angle can change dramatically very quickly, and you can match it. If you're still tight and your rod is as far away as it possibly can. And again, there's some sines and cosines. So I'm hollering because I don't want, the closer you are to being straight, the more force you're putting on that hook and fish pop off. They're only, you get a 5, 6, 8 pound fish, even on something like this is stout. That's a stout hook. But a lot of them, the Hamagatsu B10S6, that's stout as well because of the bend. Evil demon hook. I almost got hooked. I'm not a trout, but you get close enough to that thing or smell it, and you're a trout. It goes in your face. If you're lifting 8 pounds with that thing and it's not fully on the bend, it's going to bend out, and then it's going to get shaken out. If you're pulling an 8 pound weight that has, trout mouth flesh as the thing that you're holding on to, dude, the thing's going to snap off if you're just lifting it up. So that rod tip all the way up doubles as you can change the angle very quickly. It also is, when it's coming up, the fish is coming into the net like this. It's not coming in like this. It's not coming in like this. The fish comes into the net like this. We have a few different options. We can lift, or we can put our rod tip underwater and have the line coming this way when the fish is coming into the net. It's not a good idea. Fish is wanting to go this way. It's coming into the net like this. We want opposing force from where the fish wants to go. We also want opposing force not in this direction. So that basically leaves this and kind of like that, because we can't keep tension down spine. And it's really hard to go this way because that's the river direction. So you want up, slightly over, getting it to the surface, pulling it in, but staying up. Not like this. This is where hooks pop out. So back to the screen here. I imagine Tom's about to change directions pretty quickly, but that trout mouth is dangerously in line with the tension. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You can slowly let line out.
So you can use the rod a little more vertically. All right, last thing here. All right, I mean, this is... We're getting close to bag time here, okay? So, kind of more to say on this one, but it's just, it comes with time on water. It comes with time fishing with someone else. A lot of the times that we're going to be fishing together, if you're new, if you're coming to fish for 2, 3, 4 days, that first hour or the first 30 minutes of probably every day, maybe first 5 or 10 minutes for the more regulars, sometimes it's 0 at that point, or at some point, the more I know someone, but there's going to be this, like, let's get the rust off for you fishing, and let's also make sure that you and I are working as a team. And this is going to be the same with your friend who's rowing, or when you're rowing a friend, or if you're guiding other people. Man, communication is important. And it's not just communication, but all of it comes down to communication. You're sliding up to a bank and someone's not putting the shot in where you want them to put the shot in, drop the anchor. It's not like an ego thing. It's like, here's my plan and here's what I'm thinking, and I'm the one controlling where the boat is. If you have a different opinion, let's talk about that. Dude, if you want to fish the right-hand side, absolutely go for it. I'm probably going to position the boat a little differently. If you want to have equal shots, but maybe not focus and have the perfect shot on either one, but still be able to reach, I'm going to slide a little bit too. So there's this there's almost this body language where if I'm looking at you like that, you probably feel something. If I'm looking at you like that, it's different. You get it, right? Facial expressions, communication. I do that with the boat. Those are little back rows. Those are big back rows. That means something. I'm trying to get over to the left. I'm here. The river just dumped over and straightened out. That's saying right there. So if you don't agree, we talk about it. Most of the time, it's the whole paying me to guide you on something that I'm good at and on a river I know. But I also love learning from other people. So like there's a looking at the screen on the left-hand side, you have more of a trough, but it's kind of a ladle, where the right-hand side, middle of the river, has this not super gradual shelf that comes up, semi-gradual, but it's really bouldery and like that, a lot of depth variation. I mean, I've moved good fish all over the place here. And so I have to make a decision. I can't just go through and say, yeah, wherever. We got to be focusing on something and have a game plan. If I can get away with left bank shots, I'm going to. There's so many times that I'm fishing right bank and I'm making people backhand sidearm. And so whenever we can get some shots on the left, I tend to tie goes to the runner on that one. And then visibility, if you can't see anything because of glare, I'm probably choosing the side that we can see stuff, assuming that all things are somewhat equal. So I said bag time. That's how I got into that. It's almost bag time. And what I mean there is we're about to net this fish. And I'm saying that for a few reasons. One of which, the it's almost bag time comes because I look up and I see this overhanging branch and this overhanging tree. And I'm not about to go on the oars. I'm staying on net. And so oars are gone. We're 10 feet from the bank. And, we get pretty sporty. We'll go through some bushes and every once in a while, assuming it's a good fish, everyone's going to be okay with some honeysuckle in their faces. Let's get that fish in the boat. But we got a tree coming up that I don't want to put us through. And big fish like that, I think we had already lost one. It was a good set. It was an incredible eat. It's on GoPro. Let's get it in the boat. And so that, size 6 or size 1 or whatever it is in a big fish's, and I would guesstimate somewhere between, I don't know, 6-7 pounds. It's almost 23 inches and just meaty. The more that hook is into flesh, and the more that thing was going bonkers. It's tail walking like a steelhead. That hold is not permanent. It's not, some incompressible thing in something else incompressible. This is what's happening. It's jostling. That flesh is ripping. All of a sudden, that hook's going to come out. So assuming you get that good set, let's go. Let's get it in. Doing all the right things, of course, along the way. And yes, it's like do all 20 things right at the same time. And you do 19 of 20 things right. And you don't do the 20th, and we don't get the fish. And that was the only shot. Sometimes you have 5 shots. Sometimes you have 1. Sometimes you have 10. Sometimes you get them in, and you did 5 of the things wrong. Enough data, enough practice, enough thought, hopefully enough encouragement and shortening of the curve from my end. I mean, if you can come on the boat with some of this stuff kind of already kicking around, as much as I talk on these things, it's advertising, right? I think it's helpful for my brain because I can get some of it out. Otherwise, it's just in my head and I'm not on the water, and I'm tying size 18 John LaRosse specials. Little CDC emerger for Tailwaters Fly Company, which I don't mind doing, but this should go somewhere. So if you can get on the boat, or if you can go out and fish on your own and have this kicking around your head before you're going out there and seeing it for the first time ever, those stories of you should have seen it started jumping out of the water, or it just came off right when I was lifting my fly out of the water. Those are great stories. Let's just not have those stories ever and get more fish into the boat. So I'm saying it's almost bag time, right? Tom knows me. He's been in the water enough. He's been on a boat enough. He's done his own guiding, his own fishing enough. And I know this seems simple, but there's alternatives here, right? He could say, I'm going to play this fish out. We don't have time to have the discussion. I wish we did, but there's an overhanging branch and he's concussed. Now I'm pulling over the bridge, right? Now we're flagging down that one truck. They come over, he's concussed, he's bleeding. His wife is 3 hours away, staying with some dude who can't see, and now he's bleeding. They have a family event the next day. The guy who came to help smells like alcohol, but it's like, I don't know what else to do. So we're avoiding that situation by getting the fish in the boat and not arguing about it. It's almost bag time. So the fish starts going a little more bonkers because when I say it's almost bag time, Tom starts putting the pressure on a little more. Going nuts. I try to stab at it with the net. It doesn't like that. See ya. That is so sick. Kids call me Yachty. Kids call me Yachty on the streets. Look at that grab. That's your ace, throwing the absolute heat. Dude takes a cut at it and just glances off the bat.
Yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah, dude. Hang on to that. That is broken as shit.
I'm changing the battery pack. Okay, we're just going to do this long enough to sign off. Tell you to get a trip. You can get more information at elliswardflies.com. Not really. If you're watching this, you get plenty of information. That's definitely not a water heater. And what else is there? Musky, smallmouth, trout. I am in Johnson City, and it is early May. I want to take as many of you fishing as possible. I know there's, I don't know how many major cities are within 5 hours of here, but we have some truly incredible fishing here. If you're local and you've been waiting because it's been drought-ridden last year, starting the Saturday the 23rd, I think the juice is loose for until the fall. So yeah, South Holston, Watauga for trout, a couple other spots for trout, smallmouth, Holston proper, Nolichucky, French Broad, musky, French Broad, and the clinch over by Melton. That's all for right now. I hope to see you on the boat. Let me know if you have questions about this. I've had a lot of people who have paid attention to these things and to some of my casting instruction videos and have come to fly tying events. And honestly, clients as of last week and some new folks have told me that what I'm talking about or how I'm explaining things or how I approach certain concepts has been really helpful and very unique. I love hearing that. I think that is the case, and I agree with them. I lose sight of it, though, because I'm the one out talking with people and fishing on my own, so it's just me kind of working through stuff and figuring things out and communicating the best I can, the most effective ways for whatever we're doing. And if you're going to be, let me just float out a couple other things. If you're going to be in the area, if you're just watching this and you don't stream or fish, if this is like way too intense, tying to size 18 emerger. I guide for a living. This is my job. So we don't have to go this speed. I love this speed. But I love teaching. I love teaching new anglers. I love spin fishing. I love fishing at night with flies and with spin gear. So even though like streamer fishing and I mean it's high octane. It's not for everyone. That's not the only thing we're doing here. I think for full disclosure, it's one of the biggest differentiators between me and other guides, and you know what my product line is and what I offer as a person, a business is this is a massive differentiator. But if you do want to have, you know, a more relaxed day or fish for a different species, and you're in the East Tennessee area or the Western North Carolina, Asheville, French Broad, Brevard area, absolutely give me a call, because the way we fish looks different for everyone. And I say this on my website, but it's 100% true, and I want to be very clear about it. I talk with everyone who gets in my boat, and I talk with you before we book and before you send me deposit, as well as when... Oh, we got dogs home. As well as when we're planning our trip. So what you're going to get is based very much on your input, and that's something else that I pride myself on, because I want you to have whatever it is that we're doing. It's that full day. It's you've taken off work. It's money. I want to make sure that our expectations are fully clear. And man, I've fished these rivers a lot with a lot of different types of rods for a lot of different species of fish, and I've done that intentionally so that I can share those experiences in whatever way works best for you. So call me, ask questions. I hope some of this stuff landed, and I'm going to do another one of these and completely rip Steven to pieces for just barely moving his rod while strip setting next time. See you on the boat. If you can slowly let line out,
yep,
so you can use the rod a little more vertically. We're getting close to bag time here.